Hi Gemini, we're going to do your love reading real quick. It probably is love. Most of my readings are, but it can apply to anyone, whoever you're thinking about. I'm picking up something about family. So I'm getting the Sun card and the Temperance card. So I don't know, maybe children, maybe parenting, but some kind of opposing force. So apply it to the person in your life that it applies to, okay? It doesn't have to be love, but we are looking for love messages. All right, so far in your pre-shuffle, we got the Five of Swords. And this Five of Swords, there's a lot of contradiction here. So if you look at this Five of Swords, it looks like somebody that has been through a battle, and I want to say somebody that's really kind of been on the attack. It could be the opposite. It could be somebody that's been on the defense. But I feel like the person that's got the sword in their hand, the person that's the more aggressive one, there's some contradiction here that the others cannot see. So the sword is broken. So even though they might look like they're coming out ahead or look like they have the upper hand, behind the veil of the moon, there's a contradiction to it. We also have contradiction with this Chariot card. So we've got the two horses going in different directions. One is light, one is dark. The Chariot is all about fortitude and moving forward and plunging. It's a card of blessings, but forward motion toward in a divine direction. But sometimes it indicates being stuck. This crescent moon here with the High Priestess is somebody that knows things. So there's always, a veil in regards to the High Priestess. There's always an element of something being hidden. The crescent moon does indicate, blessings coming. So I think that there is an inability to see things exactly the way they are. Somebody who's doing the hurting is actually hurting themselves, and I can't help but feel bully in this. In there, it could be a family member, somebody putting someone else down, but there's something beneath the surface. It's coming from a place of insecurity or something. But the person that's being, maybe put down or bullied, they actually, I think, are probably better off than the person that's doing the bullying. In the long run, overall in life, this person is not prevailing. But the main thing is there is an element of contradiction here and some sort of veil. Somebody that seems to be trying to get ahead is not, or they may be acting like they are. Okay, let's lay out a spread. So wow, look at that, 10 of Cups. This may not even apply, this spread may not even be related to that. Sometimes those pre-shuffle messages are, just kind of a side note for someone that needs to hear it, but don't really, they don't always resonate with the spread. Okay. How are you guys? I hope you're well. I hope you guys are praying for one another and staying positive, healthy. Your energy, please. Actually, I'm going to shuffle these more. I was watching some of my older videos, and it seemed like the videos where I stopped shuffling on camera because people were complaining about the sound. But I started, it's like if you try to adapt too much to what others want, it affects your natural flow. I noticed that in the readings where I shuffle a lot on camera, the messages come through more clear somehow. I guess because I get, more energy flowing through the cards. I don't know, I'm rambling. Your energy, Four of Pentacles. So the Four of Pentacles is often, a fear of lack. It's a mindset of I've got to hold on to this and that because I'm afraid to be without. It could be in regards to money, but it also could be in regards to a person, maybe that family member that maybe somebody should be cut out, but you're having a hard time with it. Knight of Wands and Emperor. The Emperor is a father. Also could be divine masculine. Wow, there's the Lovers card. Look at that. Gemini energy. So whenever you show up in your own reading, that's typically an indication of something, a strong message. Wow, did you see that? I put it back and it said, nope, I need to be seen. So here we have the Emperor again, Aries energy. The Emperor is somebody who's stable, somebody who's secure. Could be somebody controlling, we'll see. Maybe there's a person in your life that's afraid of letting you go. And the Knight of Wands, I think we got that already too, and I didn't pull it. Knight of Wands, that's forward movement, action, passionate action. The Knights, you know, the Knights come and go. The negative about them, the good thing about the Knights is they take action. The downside of the Knights is, you know, on a lower frequency, they don't always stick around. So somebody, the person we're thinking about, their energy is the Knight of Wands, taking action. And then with this Emperor, yeah, see, look at this. How they view you. Wearing a false mask, Seven of Cups. Confusion, options, not sure what to do. Maybe you're indecisive. Now, wearing a false mask doesn't have to be deceit. Well, it probably is something hidden, something that's not out in the open. But it could just be hiding your feelings, you know. Okay, how they view the situation. Heavily burdened. Who is this, Gemini? I keep feeling family. But the Ten of Wands is somebody that carries a heavy load. It indicates, you know, a heavy load, a lot of burden, but it's nowhere near giving up. It's kind of like accepting it. It's, yeah, I've got a heavy situation here. It's not throwing in the towel or giving up. So we could be dealing with a father figure or a husband, somebody that holds a lot of responsibility. Maybe somebody's coming undone. Oh. Wow, how they see moving forward. They want a passionate new beginning. The Ace of Wands. So aces indicate beginnings. This looks like an offering. Somebody wants to come forward passionately, wanting to make things right, probably. And this Seven of Cups for you is probably you just not sure whether you can trust it. You know, maybe it's not letting go. Oh my goodness, what you cannot see is you have new love coming. That's beautiful. New love. Ace of Cups. Tarot's advice, hold your ground. You know, this is not a position of instigating trouble or really fighting back. It's just holding your ground, knowing your boundaries. Nobody's getting through. I know who I am. I know what I deserve. And I'm not going to compromise that because of someone else's bad behavior. Queen of Wands. Okay, so looks like a power couple. King and Queen of Wands. Ace of Wands. Something is starting. You know what it looks like to me is it looks like you have options. That's how they see you. Maybe that's what's bringing them back. And you know, the roles can be reversed. So this Four of Pentacles in your energy could be them fear of lacking, them fear of losing you. Look at this. Somebody's going to try and make things right. Wow. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, let's look at the bottom of the deck. So Ten of Swords, that's a painful ending. The Magician. So the Magician is somebody who knows how to make things happen and they don't stop at obstacles. And look how he's holding his fingers. You can almost just visualize a puppet string, you know? So there's communication about what somebody wants. Somebody's not happy with that something ended. And maybe it's because you have options and they're worried about losing control. Also, there could be an element of money, holding money tied to this. Somehow somebody using money to hang on to someone else. But remember this bullying I kept getting? This could be somebody, you know, making you think you need them because you can't do it on your own. And that is not true. That's a fault. That's a veil. That's a false belief. We've got this crescent moon here. That's blessings coming. You've got a new love offer coming in. Don't you love how I just totally mess up the spread? Yeah, so whoever is like handling things not right, it's starting to not work. They're losing their weapons. Their weapons are not as sharp as they used to be. So you, if it, or roles reversed, the person at the other end of the situation is gaining strength. I think a veil is being lifted. And they're probably, you may be able to see the difference now, the contrast. It's like once you see a certain side of people, you know, you can forgive and all that, but you can't unsee it. I mean, we can go for years being, you know, manipulated and not knowing it. But once you get to that aha, oh my gosh, I see the tactics, I see what's happening, then your antenna is up and you start seeing it every time, and it almost becomes kind of like laughable. Like once I became aware of certain tactics of, you know, changing the subject, or, you know, when you call somebody out and they, oh no, I hope you guys aren't dealing with a narcissist. Jeez. Okay, one moment. There's a lot of mental here. 9 of Swords, anxiety. We've got this Temperance again. Temperance is patience and balance, but that is not balanced. This Two of Cups is all about balanced. And this Queen of Pentacles is about being self-sufficient. She's resourceful. She's stable and secure. And she probably knows her value much too well to stay in a position or a situation that is not an equal give and take. Look, here we have the dark and the light again. Look at the synchronicity in that. They're even facing the right direction. And these cards come out in different directions, right? But look at that, the dark and the light. So when we look at the contradiction between this Chariot, I'm reading this as it has to do with an equal Gemini, you might be more understanding and more loving and more giving, open-minded to than someone in your life, and that someone in your life may not be liking that and maybe trying to stifle that in you. Maybe even, so back to the tactics. So what I was saying is, you know, we can go for years not seeing the tactics that some people use. Sometimes they use it on purpose. Sometimes it's just how they've learned to argue or whatever. But if you point out something that's bothering you and somebody diminishes it by saying, oh, you're overreacting, or that's no big deal, or stop being, whatever. If they're not, that's a tactic. That's a tactic, because if something's bothering you, somebody should listen, not shut you down immediately. And talking over you is another tactic. Getting louder so that you back down is another tactic. Or when you say something that's bothering you and they immediately come back with something you did wrong, that is the tactic. Once you start seeing these things in people, it's like an awakening. It's hard to unsee it. So there's something going on here that's had a negative force like hanging over you. But it looks like that's being balanced out. I think you're coming into the awareness you can do it on your own. You can be this Queen of Pentacles, resourceful. Let me see. Yeah, I think there's been a painful ending, and somebody's trying to bring it back or work their way back in with, maybe a text message. But you need to hold your ground. Here's the Wheel of Fortune. So Wheel of Fortune is often karma. And remember, we had the Chariot that looked like it was not going anywhere. It's supposed to be moving forward towards your blessing. But, you know, ultimately, Gemini, it is our responsibility to have boundaries and not give energy to situations that are not good for us. If we don't stand up for ourselves, if we don't know our value, if we don't enforce our boundaries, if we don't respect ourselves enough, then it's hard to, you know, others won't. Okay? Interesting. But can we focus on new love? Okay, so let's talk about this toxic person real quick, and then let's wrap up with that. They're coming back. And again, it could be a parent trying to suck you back in. It could be a husband, or I don't know. It's somebody that has had kind of a stronghold, somebody controlling over you. And what you've seen and what you're learning is you're getting more and more to where you can't unsee it. And their sword is weakening. Their tactic is not working. So once I learned that, and I learned a lot of this, guys, through tarot and through, you know, you guys and what you're going through and trying to understand it, what's coming through in the cards. But once I became aware of the tactics, and I've been dealing with this my whole life, and, you know, from family members, and my family members are not ill-intentioned at all, very loving, but once I started realizing, when I tried to speak up and I was shut down so fast, I was like, oh my gosh. Normally I would have hung up the phone thinking I had done something wrong, because the, you know, phone call ended with, you know, them being upset, but what it was me saying, don't talk over me. And that didn't fly too well, you know? And like every time I tried to, I don't know why I'm telling you guys this, I'm sorry. Hopefully it's helpful. But whenever I would try to respond in a way that wasn't what they were trying to make me think, I would get, the volume would get louder, talk over me, and to where it was just so exhausting. I just normally would just have like suffered through it and hung up, and then felt bad afterwards. This time I was like, I hung up the phone and I was like, oh my gosh, you know, it's eye-opening. So sorry for that if it's too much information. Here's the moon card. That again is shadows. Hierophant. The Hierophant can mean, you know, a marriage or a high-level relationship. Of course, it's very much tradition and family, but it's also truth and it's all about truth and tradition, ethics. And here we have the moon card. That's interesting. Let's clarify. And then enough of the toxic stuff. Let's move on to the new love. Oh. Yeah, somebody's trying to come back. But you know what? Sometimes when people hit rock bottom is when they have this, you know, they have nowhere left to go but up. And sometimes that's where the Judgment card is often an apology. And it's, you know, it can be, I often feel this as, I'm so sorry, please forgive me, I'm going to do better, right? But you know what happens sometimes is because of your, you know, sweet spirit and happy spirit and not wanting conflict, we sometimes can steal people's lessons, where we let it go, or we forgive them too easily, or we, you know, just sweep it under the rug and don't stand up for ourselves, and then that person doesn't learn their lesson. I think this is saying, this person, if somebody's treating you bad, don't steal their lesson by letting them out of it too easily. They're going to try and come back, but make sure it's sincere and your boundaries are set, and you're not going to be treated like that again. Wow, I feel like I'm talking to myself. So the moon card, you know, illusions about this higher level figure. Something's been an illusion. So this also could indicate when they come back that it isn't legit. Why do I keep going back to this? Yeah. Ooh. You've got a great outcome, though. You've got Six of Swords, leaving a difficult situation. And that could just be setting a new tone for the relationship. But this is an ending. So something new can begin. Now, the Strength card is taming that dark side of us, or taming that beast, and it's a balance between the lion and the lamb, you know. It's drawing from within. It's knowing that you have the strength and the ability to handle the conflicts that you face in a dignified manner. You have all that. It's just a matter of pulling it from within you. The well, this is all about creation. I mean, this is amazing. You're creating an amazing new future. Let's see. What else do we want to know about that? Do I want to use a different? I don't know. Let's keep going. Okay, let's talk about Gemini's future. This reading is all about growth. Oh, another thing, Lionsgate, August. Okay, August 8th. And it's not just one day. It's a portal opening for massive power. And you know, the Strength card is all about power. To achieve your goals. So this reading might be all about reminding you of what you're able to do. You know, Lionsgate is about being able to tackle your goals and be successful. Wheel of Fortune, you've got blessings coming. So, you know, I keep trying to go back to new love, and it keeps bringing up money and stuff. So it's probably, it might be money. Okay, wow. I think you have a narcissist. I'm sorry, you guys. Go look at another video if this doesn't fit. I don't ever want you guys to suffer through a negative video. All my videos are timeless. So, you know, if it doesn't resonate, check another video. There's going to be plenty of videos that will resonate and have positive messages and growth in there for you. This Nine of Pentacles with this Nine of Cups in reverse, this is financial success and independence, blessings, right? This Nine of Cups is blessings and wish fulfillment too, but look how smug. Looks a little bit too full of himself. Like, we're supposed to be confident, right? But when it becomes too confident, it can become narcissistic. It was in reverse. So there's a negative energy here, but look at this. I wanted to find out about new love. Once something ends, you've got new love coming in. It's going to build a stable foundation. You could have a twin flame coming. I hope not. Those are not easy, but that was a horrible thing to say. Scratch that. I'd rather you be on a smooth journey, but if you are in a twin flame, or you feel like you are, I'll link some of my extendeds down below. There's a really, you can watch the the trailer, and then decide. But the Four of Wands is twin flame, 1111, peace, harmony, foundations being built, but something has to end first, okay? The fight has to stop. See, her sword is down. The Queen of Swords is independent, and she's decisive. She's not weak. She doesn't cower down. She doesn't take anything from other people. She knows her value. She's done. She's done with it. So the sword is down, and she's like, done. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I love this for you. I'm not saying, you've got to do what you know is right, but it looks like once you put an ending to a toxic situation, you've got new love coming, and it's going to be stable. There you go. Do you see that? And it's going to be cooperative. Somebody that works with you, towards your goals, elevates you. I mean, this is beautiful. Beautiful, Gemini. How about that? Love it. Can y'all see those? These are the ethereal visions with the gold foil. All right, let me know. Let me do a manifestation card real quick. This is like you just coming into your power. It's an awakening. It's kind of like, it's got that energy of enough. Enough is enough is enough. This is enough. And again, remember that this keeps coming back. Sometimes some things, when you see them and you see them clearly, you can't unsee them. And then when it happens again, the next time you go, oh. And then again and again, and eventually it's just like, ha, nice try, that doesn't work on me anymore. You know? It's like a power struggle, and you have not, somehow somebody has worn someone else down to where they feel weak, and you're not. If that's you, you're not weak. And 2021 is like the year of false masks being, wow. It's like the year of deception being exposed. And okay, so practice positivity. Be mindful of the tendency toward negative self-talk and other limiting behaviors that can keep you stagnant and energetically depleted. Let's do one more. So you may have this person's voice in your head. You may not even know it, but you may have some thoughts in your head that you're not good enough, or it's not going to work out. Mainly that it's not going to work out. It is going to work out because you create your future. And you create your future, good or bad. So if you're staying in toxic situations, and you're creating a toxic future. Yeah, look at this, is coming through pretty damn strong. The need for energetic, emotional, or physical boundaries, wow, is necessary for you at this time. Thank you, Spirit. What an amazing message. Powerful. Sorry, it's not all rainbows and butterflies, but actually it is. But we got to get you past the tough stuff first before this comes. But this is coming. This is what you have to look forward to. Equal give and take, possibly a twin flame. A strong foundation, stability, wealth, and love. Everything you want. It's here. It's coming. Gemini, I love you. Let me know in the comments. Please hit like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys soon. Bye, Gemini.